Hey, Phil here. So I've been wanting to talk to you about this one for a while. My previous videos went into Google Analytics 4, and now I want to tell you about how to start getting some of that conversion data in the form of events into the data layer so you can start seeing these events show up in your Google Analytics 4. Let's get started. So put the brakes on this. This video assumes that you have Google Analytics 4 and Google Tag Manager installed. If not, check out previous videos. This video will work for Universal Analytics, but today we're talking about Google Analytics 4 because that's what my previous videos I've talked about. So if you don't have Google Analytics 4 or Google Tag Manager installed, check out my previous videos. We'll put those below, and also let's grab the Google Tag Assistant Chrome extension. I will put that link in the description as well. Before we get started, I want to quickly go over some key terms. So Google Analytics does conversions as events, or rather they do events as conversions, right? Well, what is an event? Simply put, the best way I could sum it up is an event is a digital receipt when an interaction happens on the site. Let's say your site's configured to handle up sign-up events. Well, if Phil went on your site to submit a sign-up request, he would get an event, which is essentially a digital receipt. And we're gonna take this analogy further. So the data layer is kind of like a container for all your digital receipts to go in. So maybe Phil's on your site for a few hours and I fill out some forms. There should be multiple receipts, if everything's tagged correctly, multiple receipts showing Phil's interaction, right? And the data layer variables would be the form fields of the receipts. So I did an example. I need to go grocery shopping and I was thinking about things I need to buy. So one of the data layer variables on my receipt would be item name, apples. The item price would be 50 cents and the weight, quarter pound, right? So again, this is just one entry on the receipt, but we've got three different variables. Let's do one more. This is another receipt entry. The item name, coffee, item price, $20, the weight, 2.5 pounds. I guess I bought a lot of coffee right there. But anyways, this is to get you thinking about how the data layer responds to receipts, or how data layer variables work with the data layer. Again, just to kind of reiterate, you've got your data layer. It could be storing a bunch of receipts, and all these variables are going to have the properties of the items that are shared. So it bears mentioning that, by the way, this is available on my site. Go ahead and click on the link in the description and you can get to a page where it shows this. But what I want to show you is, this is a very typical looking HTML button, right? I put the HTML stuff in yellow. I'm not too worried about teaching HTML today. What I want to show you is the OnClick Data. So you have the OnClick Data layer start, right? I would almost say this is the initiating statement, right? And then you have an event, and that event has a name. That event is click in this instance. I created data layer variable click type. You can put anything you want in here, but for this example, I did click type, and inside this data layer, I put content click. My second data layer variable value would be the click name, and for this particular click, I put in affiliate link. And data layer variable 3, I added 3 variables onto this event. So this event is going to have an event name and 3 data layer variables. The third data layer variable is the click campaign, right? I was really struggling to figure out what my third variable would be. Very likely that your buttons will not have 3 variables, but you know, whatever you'd like. So, by the way, these are available on my site, link in the description. I'm going to show you kind of my playground where I was messing around with stuff, and the HTML and the button itself, right? Okay, I'm in my Google Tag Manager and I have my Google for tag installed. I want to show you how to implement this data layer push, but I want to show you from the ground up. So we're going to start with the variables. Now, in my example, I had 3 variables, and those variables were, if I look at my other screen, that was click type, click name, and click campaign. So I'm going to add those really quick. You're going to go to variables. You're going to go to new because you're creating new user defined variables, and let's do click campaign because that's the one I said first. You're going to go to data layer variable, and it's just click campaign. Now make sure your spelling and your typing is absolutely correct because, well, Google Tag Manager is very specific. One, two, and the third was click type. So anyways, I'm just declaring these data layer variables. You don't have to use these same ones, but these are the ones that I'm using. And these are the ones that are correlating with the example that you will see at the site if you choose to go to my site and check out. All right. 1, 2, 3. Did I get my spelling right? Looks good. Did I do? Looks good. All right. Next, I'm going to go to triggers. And I need a new trigger. And I need, we'll call this event click. I've got some other events in there. Don't worry about those. Event name, click. Alright. And this fire will trigger when event contains click. Right? So further down the line, you could segment the different clicks because you could do event contains yada yada yada. Or you could filter this out using these variables here. That's a little bit beyond today's scope, but that's how it works. All right, next you're gonna go to the tag and you wanna create a new GA4 click event. GA4. And it will fire when that fires, right? So far so good, knock on wood. I don't have great results with preview, but we can try preview. I found sometimes I just have to push the changes through, but I could be surprised. All right, so we've got this thing here, right? So if my Universal Analytics tag fired and my GA4 tag fired, this is the one I actually want to fire. So I'm gonna hit some annoying menus. Oh, hey, let's click all of them. Oh, fantastic. It looks like it fired a few times, which is great. Oh my goodness. All right. With that in mind, I'm confident enough to push because I saw those fires. A little annoying, but anyways. Aha! Aha! All right, excellent. When you go to variables, sorry, when you go to you can see all the stuff that's going on inside here, which is super cool. If you look, these things are actually being pushed to the data layer, which is great. Alright, well, I feel good enough to submit, and then GA4 event clicks, we'll do campaign, we'll do excellent. Hey, additionally I wanted to show that it's certainly possible to check in real time in Google Analytics, so which is what I've done. And when you go to the new GA4, which I think they've done a spiffy job, you go to real time and you can see the clicks in the events. Again, so that's a good indication. So I'm actually going to come back to this video tomorrow when Google Analytics 4 will register the events, not in real time, but sort of in their catalog, and I will show you how that data looks. But to me, this looks good, and I'm optimistic for tomorrow.